You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Christine Lampard, Brenda Edwards, Janet Street Porter and Linda Robson.
Hello and welcome to your Tuesday Loose Women. Coming up, after Harry Styles' recent Merman makeover sent his fans into a tailspin, we're talking fantasy crushes. Prepare for some very interesting revelations. And after Sarah Ferguson was recently pictured playing with the late Queen's corgis, should all pet owners write a pet will? Brenda has some very strong opinions on that one. And how dirty is your duvet? After a shocking new study dished the dirt on the duvet, we are revealing which other unexpected household items are a haven for germs. And as always, let us know what you think this afternoon as well. Now, last night, the full lineup was revealed for this year's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And you might have spotted a very familiar face in the mix. Our Charlene is heading to the
Hi guys, if you're watching this, it means there's been a massive announcement. Yeah, it's finally official. I am a part of I'm a Celebrity this year. I'm literally about to jump in a taxi to Heathrow Airport to get on about a 24-hour flight to Australia, where this adventure will really begin. I'm nervous, really nervous. It's all become really real.
It is. How's she going to get on? What do we think?
I think she's crazy. You know, it's Celebrity Get Me Out of It. You wouldn't get me in there. I've said this so many times. I'm just very, you know, I think Charlene, she's very determined. We know she's very determined, and we know that she likes things to go her way. Just don't drop a spider next to her, because she will be flying all over the place and screaming, so that could be good entertainment. So I'm just going to watch to see what Charlene does eat, doesn't eat, how quick she moves from a spider when it just goes like that, incy-wincy, because she was like that when she was here.
Alongside all the other horrendously scary, awful things that are in
But she's
there.
really scared of spiders.
That's her thing, isn't it? Well, actually, I think we have...
that?
No, because no, I think she has admitted to this. We've actually got a clip to absolutely prove her fear.
So I'm only going to say one word to you: spiders.
Oh my gosh, this was awful.
Completely fine with the spider. Oh, God!
That is so mean.
Do you know what happened? Is apparently they were setting that up and getting all the studio guys here were setting it up when I was in the studio, but I didn't see them doing it. So I'm chatting away, and suddenly I can see everybody's eyes turning in one direction. I turn, and suddenly there's a spider coming. Oh. And honestly, that's why I screamed. That was a natural reaction, because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Now, ladies, you know, you've been in there. Why admit to being scared of spiders before you go in? Because you know that's what's coming your way.
That's the worst thing you could do, because I said to her, I'm not getting in a coffin, even if it's to save my grandchildren. There's no way I'm going to go underground and have all them creatures coming in. But she did ask for advice, didn't she? Because she knew that we'd been in there before. So I said, you just got to do your best, you know, just anything they asked you to do. And remember, your 2 kids will be watching and your husband will be watching. So you've got to make sure there's no screaming and crying. Just have a go at everything. If you can't do it, then just do your best. That's what you can do, really. But I had an amazing time. I loved it.
You really did.
The worst night was the first night I went in, because I was so scared. And they put you in your sleeping bag and they show you where the dunny is. And then about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, all the lights go off. And Charlie Brooks said to me, if you want to go to the toilet, give me a nudge and I'll come with you. Well, I was nudging her and she was still fast asleep. So in the end, instead of going to the toilet, I just wet myself. I was so scared. Anyway, at least it warmed me up a little bit.
Our
think that when I was in there, oh my goodness, actually, before Carol Thatcher went in, she rang me up and I went for lunch with her and I gave her some advice and I said, don't forget, Carol, they'll be filming you everywhere you go. So what does she do? She wants to go to the loo in the middle of the night, so she just wheezed by her...
Pulled her trousers and knickers down.
The whole nation saw Carol Thatcher, the former Prime Minister's daughter, having a wee. I mean, you've got no dignity. And I think the other thing that Charlene has to remember is that although on Loose Women there's a lot of give and take and we're all very, very bossy people, we are all...
You are.
I don't know what she's talking about, bossy.
No, we're all quite strong personalities. When you're in there, you can't give anyone advice. You can't tell them what to do. They get the right hump because they're starving. They are absolutely starving.
Because you were the cook, weren't you? You were the official chef.
For the whole thing? For the duration that you were in there?
Because it was the only way I could make sure that everybody got food, because they would have, you know, some of the blokes in there would have just taken everybody's food, and you all have a little tin with your food in it, and I could divvy it out.
Yeah.
But I had Brian Harvey from East 17 wandering around my cooking campfire, farting in my face every 5 minutes, and demanding mineral water.
No,
I
think Charlene will be good at the cooking. Charlene will be good at the cooking. She's a good cook.
Yeah, and motherly, and she's a good listener.
Absolutely.
She likes
and you'll see another
questions.
side to her as well, because she's real good fun, isn't she?
She is. She's a right laugh.
What about the lineup, though?
The line, I think this year is brilliant. I think it's really good for me. Of course, just aside from Charlene, I'm back in Jill Scott. She's our lioness. She was there picking up the cup at the Euros with the other her team members. Yeah. She's a brilliant girl. I've gotten to know her. I just think she's fantastic. She's very funny, but she'll be very competitive. She wants to win. That's just in her DNA. And I think she'll be a great competitor.
What about this morning? The hot news, not yet confirmed, that former Secretary of State for Health, Matt Hancock, is going in the jungle.
That is
picked
a serious...
every challenge, doesn't he?
Yes, this without a doubt.
So that must be this, I'll go in and I'll show people I'm a nice person.
I'm real.
I'm real.
Having a midlife crisis. And also, you might not know this, but he's got a very, very thin skin, because I wrote something about it, about Matt Hancock in the Mail Online. I wrote a rather sneery piece about him. Next thing, his PA is ringing up my agent saying, Matt's not very happy. He'd like to take Janet for a coffee. Well, he's going to learn what it's like to be disliked in the jungle.
And also, you've got to have a signal as well, haven't you, when you're in there? And apparently Charlene's got a signal. What is it?
Yes, what is... So apparently this is to let us know and her family know that everything's going OK. So apparently she's going to be rubbing her ear whilst doing this. So it looks like an L.
So everything's OK?
Everything's an L. When we see her do this, when she's not doing this, we know she's in trouble. And we're like walking along with this.
Well, I wonder what Matt Hancock's going to do.
But Mike Tyndall, as we know, Boy George, I think he'll be fantastic in there. Suit believer.
That's the big question.
Yeah, that's true, because that's all we've ever known him for, isn't it?
You are a luxury item, couldn't it?
Yeah,
makeup.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Owen Warner, Hollyoaks, Scarlett Douglas, Chris Moyles, Jill Scott, like I've mentioned, Babatunde Alicia, comedian, Olivia Atwood. Yeah, Olivia Atwood's going to be good too.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
And like
a lot of people have owned up to having phobias, though, before they've gone in.
Yes.
Lots of people have said they're frightened of spiders, don't like rats, don't like confined space. They shouldn't have said any of that.
Because every TV producer's going, oh, right, you don't like spiders, do you?
Exactly.
It'll be a great series. But, of course, it kicks off Sunday, 9 p.m, ITV. We'll all be watching undoubtedly.
Yes.
It's the beginning of the Christmas season when I'm a Celeb starts, isn't it? Sorry, Janet. On to a very different story now, and one that's been making lots of headlines recently. Gun and knife-related crime has been on the rise in the UK, and the awful news yesterday of a young Deliveroo driver being killed during a supposed gangland dispute is just the latest in a spate of tragic deaths. Janet, what can we do to even begin to tackle this problem? It's not even a question to ask, because it's bigger than any of us, really, but we've got to figure it out.
Yeah, and it's the pressures on young kids before they've even got to secondary schools to get involved in gangs. And the only way to deal with it is to reach out and to help and support those kids before they're sucked into this gang culture. And in Glasgow, since 2005, they set up a violence reduction unit to deal specifically with this because knife crime in Glasgow was so terrible. So what happens in Glasgow is that the police, social workers, health workers and teachers all work together and target vulnerable kids even in primary schools before they've joined gangs. The idea is to support them before they join gangs. And over the years, they've seen a 65% reduction in knife crime in Glasgow, which is amazing. Now, what I think it should happen in England is that we need to target kids in primary school. We need to understand that when they leave school now, we all had youth clubs and after-school clubs and all that. All that's gone. The councils have stopped funding youth clubs. Schools don't want to remain open for longer. They're short of staff and they're really strapped for cash. So now, with so many parents working, kids come out of school, they've got nowhere to go, they just hang around on the streets. Yeah. So Rishi Sunak says he wants to educate the kids better, but he's got to see it's not just putting information in their heads, that he's got to deal with the whole child, and that's supporting them, you know, through activities, teaching them stuff.
And to try and give them something to believe in, Brenda, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with what Janet said. Yeah, there's nothing more I can add to
No, it's exactly what it is. And I know, Linda, this is really interesting because you actually did a documentary. You went to America,
I did. I went to Chicago and interviewed some street gangs and that. And most of them had been to prison for violent crimes or whatever because I'm a patron of the Benkinseller Trust, which is all to do with knife crime because my son was with Benkinseller when he died 10 years ago. And it was probably the scariest thing I've ever done because I went with a director and a sound recordist and me and my son went out there just to interview them and they're on the streets and they thought they were going to get paid for it, but it was just basically we were seeing what they were doing in America. But in America they've got interceptors, so if someone gets killed, stabbed or shot or whatever, then an interceptor will go and speak to the family of the person that's been killed and to the family of the perpetrator and whatever and try to stop anything else happening and that. But it's true what Janet said, there is nothing for young kids nowadays. I mean, when we were young, there was St John's Youth Club that we used to go to. There's now a Times boxing in Islington, what a lot of the young boys are going to. But like in my area, next door to my daughter, there was someone killed with a machete on Caledonian Road, a young boy was killed. It's like, it's everywhere. Wherever you go in Islington, there's flowers laid for someone that's died by knife crime or whatever. It's just the scariest thing. And the Benkinseller Trust have got like a thing that they take to schools and show them. It's an exhibition showing them the different routes they can take. You know, like if you carry a knife, the chances are you will use it. And it's like so many kids pick up their phone now, their front door keys and a knife as they leave the house, which is really, really scary. Yeah. And I know they've got like the machines now, where the metal detectors where you're going into clubs and things, so that does sort of help in a way, doesn't it? But no, it's just, I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I think you've got to make kids understand that taking money for carrying drugs or, you know, is a bad idea. But they do need support at a really young age.
Yeah. And I think as well the power of sport. I think it can help a great deal for young people. It's that lack of passion, isn't it? And when you have a lack of drive or passion or someone kind of guiding you, sometimes it's difficult to know where to go. I'll just go with that, and then that's not always the right choice. And I've seen so much of it. I know Frank says this as well. He sees it with young people where if they're involved in sport, they love the sport, they have a sense of team, it can really change it. But again, it's got to be available. Yeah. And that's
but Jamal's charities have been doing a lot as well, haven't they, to help the youth?
Well, Jamal set up 3 community centres for young people because he recognised that there was a problem with youngsters being targeted at school. And, you know, I was raised with the devil always finds work for idle hands to do. And if you haven't got something to do and you don't feel enthusiastic or you don't feel like you're being supported by the teachers or whoever, then unfortunately you're going to find other ways. And if you're being told, here's £100 for just going up the road, you don't know what you're taking with you, a child with no cash is going to do it, unfortunately. But you just need to give them something. The fact that the government have taken all the community centres away, I think is a really bad move. And, you know...
And particularly in inner cities, big cities, I feel such a difference living in London compared to growing up in Northern Ireland, where we had outdoor space and there was greenery and there was just... You could make things to do.
Yeah, you've less chance. Where we live, we see kids coming home from school in groups looking anxious. That's not right.
That's a horrible thing.
Really bad.
Yeah. Still to come, it's one of Netflix's biggest hit shows, but has The Crown finally gone too far with its most recent storylines? We are pretty opinionated on that one. And we all know to change our sheets, but how often would you be washing your duvet? The results may indeed surprise you. I know. We'll see you after this. To come, we're talking fantasy fancies, but which one of us has admitted their crush on a very unexpected cartoon character? And we're all guilty of a little white lie, but how many times a day do you think you tell a fib? We'll reveal all a little bit later on. Now, it's the final week of our biggest competition of the year. What would you do with £500,000? Josie has some ideas. She was soaking up the sun in Cyprus earlier when I saw her. Less so now, I believe. Josie.
Christine, it is sunny on average 320 days a year in Cyprus, and today it's not. It's hailstoning. I've never seen hailstones like it. Look at that. But we are. Can you hear that? The thunder. That is thunder. I don't know if you can hear it. They call it the playground of the gods. And I want to really get inside before the lightning comes. Now, we are giving away a huge amount of money, and normally you could buy a lovely, beautiful, sunny destination. Is it normally like this, Barry? Now, these are expats, Barry and Christine. Is it normally like this? Is this normal?
Isn't this fabulous weather? I mean, it really is. No, it's not. It's normally a steady temperature, very good temperature all year round.
And what's the best thing about living in Cyprus?
Oh, well, we have a whale of a time together. We'll enjoy the climate and the people here. They're very friendly, and the mountains behind us.
Lovely.
Sea in front of us, as you can see, which is usually bright blue, and it's very, very sunny and fabulous weather.
Thank you, Christine.
Have a great time.
Thank you, Barry. You really could be soaking up the sun with £500,000. But you need to act fast because lines close on Friday. Here are all the details. You hear that thunder?
For another chance to win, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to
Cash 44, PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over and lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 4th of November. Good luck.
Thank you, Josie. You could be soaking up the sun in Cyprus, just not today. Maybe tomorrow. Now, it's one of Netflix's biggest hits, and Series 5 of The Crown is set to be released in the next few weeks. Series 6, however, is currently being filmed and is set to cover infidelities, intimate conversations, as well as controversial scenes portraying Princess Diana's death and funeral. However, with backlash from members of the public who feel they are exploiting the tragedy of a real-life family, is it time to stop watching The Crown? It's been a huge series, a hugely successful series for Netflix. And I watched the first couple of seasons. Quite enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah, me too.
But strangely enough, seeing the little spoilers that have come through for this season 6, which they're filming at the moment, I do feel it's a bit distasteful. I just kind of... I think we all know the story, but there are still living family members who we see on our TV screens every day. We've just lived through a death in their family in recent times. I just think, do we really want to see this Merc driving into a tunnel in Paris and to bring all of those memories up again for the sons particularly? I just, for the sake of drama and entertainment, I just feel it's a bit wrong. And I don't know whether... I'm currently actually watching a series called The Looming Tower. I don't know if any of you have seen it on Prime, and it's about 9/11 and the battles that went on with FBI and CIA and the lead up to it. And again, it's a dramatisation, and I'm watching that, but weirdly, I find The Crown where it's being taken almost like a proper historical document by a lot of people, and it's not. It's not that. It's a dramatisation that's got lost in it.
Yeah.
So we're taking certain conversations as well. That definitely happened. We don't know. Those things happen behind closed doors. And so I do. I feel I don't want to watch it.
I'm exactly like you. I used to love watching the first series of and I did look at it as this is informative of what's gone on in the royal family and how the Queen got to there and that was interesting to watch. But I am the same, maybe because I can relate to the tragedy. I feel that is in bad taste to be focusing on Princess Diana and the accident. We all know what happened. We don't need to revisit that. There's plenty of other stories that they could talk about if they want to talk about something within the royal family, if you know what I mean. Not saying anything, but, I think that it is quite distasteful doing that, and Diana's not here and her sons are going through it and everything else, yeah.
Well, I disagree with you, really, because I feel that the fashion in drama at the moment is the most popular dramas on television are all based on real-life events. They're based on murders, serial killers and violent crimes. And so we've got the Dahmer series about Dahmer's dreadful killings. We've had Dennis Nilsen turned into a drama here, which was very popular. And then nobody thinks then, oh, well, what about the families of all the victims? And is this portrayal of a serial killer like the real person, or is it a bit of a fantasy?
But maybe we should be. Maybe we should be asking
There's real life and then there's entertainment. You're using the Crown and the tragedy as some form of entertainment. There's nothing entertainment about the car crash that happened with Princess Diana.
Well, that's not in the series that's about to air. The series
it's in the next one, then.
Yeah, it's series 5, which is about to go on screen, covers the period of the breakup of Charles and Diana's marriage and the Martin Bashir interview. Now, I think they're perfectly justified in recreating that because it could have altered the course of the monarchy. I think that the heir to the throne and his wife, their marriage breaking down so spectacularly, and her giving that interview, that astonishing interview to the BBC, has caused the ramifications we're still feeling today, and how the public subsequently saw Prince Charles really changed after that. So I think they're justified in turning it into a drama, and it's certainly been on the stage, and certainly there's been lots of plays on the stage about the royal family, so I don't know why everybody's getting so exercised about it being on television. Well, I mean, you don't have to watch it.
No, of course. A Netflix spokesperson has told us The Crown has always been presented as a drama inspired by historical events. Series 5 is a fictional dramatisation imagining what could have happened behind closed doors during a significant decade for the royal family, one that has already been scrutinised and well documented by journalists, biographers and historians. But it still does make a lot of money for them, let's just remind us.
And Harry has taken their money.
Yes. Another topic. After the Duchess of York recently shared photographs caring for the Queen's beloved corgis, we're asking whether you should be assigning godparents to your pets. Brenda's got someone in mind already, haven't you? We'll be right back after this. Your Tuesday Loose Women, joining me, Christine Lampard, it's Brenda Edwards, Janet Street Porter and Linda Robson. Still to come today, we're talking pet godparents in just a moment, and Brenda's got someone very good in mind to look after her little kitties. And we are revealing our fantasy crushes a little bit later on as well. Yeah. Now, the Duchess of York recently shared some lovely photographs of herself playing with the Queen's 2 corgis. The dogs, Muick and Sandy, were originally gifted to the Queen by the Duke of York during lockdown, and following her death have been rehomed at Windsor with Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. Yeah, it's a big thing, isn't it? We never think what happens to your pet if, God forbid, something happens to us. And it's a discussion we've all had this morning.
It is, and I never thought about it before this discussion. I was like, I don't know what they'll do. But obviously, when I'm touring, Jamal and Tanisha, they look after Tiny and Temper. So if anything, yes.
Best name ever.
I actually got those, they were kittens, and I got them on the show. They were a clue to something that was going on Loose one day, and I ended up going home with them. So, you know...
They are your babies.
Yeah, they are my babies, but Tanisha's allergic to cats.
Oh, dear.
So... If something happens to me, they won't be going with her. Bless her. She does look after them, but she's allergic. So I was thinking the perfect person would be Colleen.
Yeah.
Colleen's got a pet farm going on there.
Yep.
She got goats, she got chickens,
Yep.
she got dogs, she got cats, she's got everything. She got birds. But failing that, I have got somebody, a really good friend of mine.
A responsible person.
A responsible adult. No, I'm joking. Colleen is responsible. But Miss Debbie, I call her Miss Debbie, and she talks to the cats in the same way that I do. She's a cat lover. And she comes down and we just talk in cat language. It's really great.
So you've got it sewn up, actually?
Yeah. Well, I have now you've thought about it. Now I'm going to be giving her a call afterwards.
Did that cat woman have to audition in that funny voice you just
No, but she just naturally does it, which is what I naturally do when, like, hello, babies, how are you? And she does the same, and we talk in cat, and they talk... I've already had this conversation. You're talking about plants yesterday. It's all about cats.
It is, exactly.
Yes.
Linda, it's a big discussion.
Well, I've got Dolly, and she's 1 on Saturday. So she's a rescue from Battersea, and she's absolutely adorable. She really, really is. So if I'm not looking after her, Bobby looks after her, or Mark does as well. So we're lucky we've got, like, family around us. Louis is a bit allergic to dog fur and whatever, so he can't really look after him. But if it was to happen to me, definitely Bobby Girl would have Dolly, because she just loves her, honestly, and she loves... Dolly loves her and she loves her.
Because, you want to make sure they're going to a loving home. I mean, my little doggie, Minnie, she's just beautiful. My firstborn. I mean, come on, look at that little face. She's going to be 7 in January. Oh my goodness. Gosh. Anyway, little Minnie would have to go to my sister because... well, she now knows this. I'm telling her now, like, on the phone. She's going to go to my sister because my sister was with me the day we got her, and she was part of the reason I hadn't told Frank I was getting a dog. And, of course, we came back and I slightly lied to him and said, if it doesn't work, I can take her back. She was never going back. But anyway, my sister was the one that sort of convinced me to get her in the first place. So she's sort of like a joint mummy, and Minnie loves her. So I have that's fairly sewn up. And I think it's an important thing.
Badger belongs to Peter. I look after Badger, but I'm... Oh,
if anything happened to Peter, who's having Badger?
I was going to say...
Well, I've looked after Badger for a month at a time, but it's very, very, very stressful, and I can't shout. Every time I shout at Badger when I'm taking for a walk, you lot, the viewers, come up to me, because it happened last week. I was going... I can't tell you, I just completely lose it with that dog. It's always sniffing and it won't walk properly.
But is it not a love-hate relationship?
Yeah, exactly. Janet loves Badger.
You do.
I do, and I will get him on the show to sing one day because he's got a much better voice than me.
Well, that wouldn't be hard.
How does it take her? We got through 2 parts without you being horrible to me, and now you just can't do it.
Because I love you.
Yes, it's all about the love.
I do love Badger, but whether I could keep him on a long-term basis...
Maybe not.
Well,
your
it's
name's not in the
most of the men I've been with, so let's put it that way.
And there's a lot of them.
No.
That's it.
Oh, my God.
Truth's over.
That's it.
Truth's over.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is my kind of story. A shocking new poll has found that 1/5 of people have never washed their duvets. Nearly 3/4 of those aged 25 to 35 simply chuck them out when they get smelly. Linda, you're the queen of clean.
Yeah.
You would take this very seriously.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't wash it regularly, but a couple of weeks ago, Lila and Betsy stayed, and Dolly's not allowed in the bed with me, so I have a bed at the side of the bed, and Lila and Betsy snuck her into the bed, and halfway through the night they went, Nan, why is the duvet all wet? So Dolly had little wee-wees on the duvet, so in the middle of the night I had to get up, take the duvet downstairs and wash it and go and get single ones to try and cover us up for the night. But I wash it quite regularly, but I'd say probably about every 3 months or whatever. But if you've got a feather one, you have to take that to the dry cleaners, because you know what, like, wet feathers stink, don't they? They really, really do. But if it's a foam one, mine's like a foam sort of fluffy one, and that you can wash it and bung it in the dryer.
Yeah, well, you're quite right, because feather or down duvets should be washed on a gentle cycle using non-bio detergent. It's very specific, apparently. And if a quilt has embellishments or silk trimmings, you may have to get it dry cleaned. Yes, we guessed that. But yeah, obviously you can wash most of them. I would do mine. There's always some form of an accident. That's what makes me have to do it. Coffee got spilt on it the other day. It's a palaver, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Well,
It's a palaver.
luckily, unlike your dog, I'm in full control of all my bodily functions. You've mentioned we twice on this show. Is it too much to hope that we can get through part 4 without hearing
I'll
another
try
bit?
my hardest.
Try your best. Well, now, duvets aren't the only thing that get dirty. Remote controls, touched by every family member, should be cleaned at least once per week. You should clean your shower cloth or loofah at least once a week with hot water and cleaning solution. Dish sponges. Do you use a dish sponge in your dishes?
Yeah.
Was crowned as the dirtiest item in 2016 in a study. Experts advise heating in a microwave for 1 minute, then soaking it in water with a half teaspoon of bleach to clean. Oh, that's filthy.
I just bung them in the washing machine.
That's what I do.
Yeah, just clean them. Or get new ones. They're cheap enough, aren't they?
Door handles, filthy apparently, folks. You need to clean them at least once a week. Oh, I clean mine more than once a week. But there's all
everything
fingerprints
once
all
a
over
week,
it.
really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. And toothbrush holder, apparently. That should be disinfected. Oh, don't do that.
And you've got to wash your toothbrush as well. I've
Put
got
it
a
in the
battery
dishwasher.
operated. What, your toothbrush in the dishwasher?
Yeah.
Well, that's a new one.
Well, that's my top tip for the day. It doesn't involve urinating in a duvet and putting it in the washing machine, but you'll have to go with what I've got.
Anyway, you should wash your duvet once a year, apparently.
Is that all?
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, still to come. After Harry Styles' new look created a splash on the internet, we are revealing our own rather unusual fantasy crushes. Janet can't wait for this one. And as Fleetwood Mac famously said, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. But how many times a day do you tell a lie? Well, if new research is to be believed, the results may shock you. We'll see you after this. Hello again, welcome back. Now, this song might just give it away. We're talking lies in just a moment. And from lies to love, we're taking the phrase out of this world romance to a whole new meaning today, and you'll never believe who Linda has been crushing on. It's just
She's lost the plot.
First, though, how often would you say that you tell a cheeky lie? A few times a day, maybe? Well, new research has found that the average Brit lies 34 times a day. I know. Top fibs include, oh, I forgot, or I'll do it tomorrow, or yes, I am listening. Linda, you're known for your brutal honesty. I don't think there's a lie in you, to be honest.
No, I lie quite a lot. And normally it's to do with money. Because my kids give me an allowance now, so I get an allowance on Monday and an allowance on Friday, but I can be quite extravagant.
This is to make you behave yourself?
This is to make me behave myself and cut the spending, because I spend quite a lot of money, but on stupid, extravagant things. Like I love a candle, a nice candle, because I like the house to smell nice. And disinfectant as well. I spend a lot of money on disinfectant.
They counteract one another.
Yeah, no, because the house has to smell nice, and I've got a dog that's a year old and she has little accidents on the stairs. And...
You haven't mentioned the we word.
I haven't. I said accident. I didn't mention the word we or urine, did I?
You have now.
Just a little accident. So I like the house to smell nice, so I spend a lot of money on candles and nice fragrances. I like nice room sprays and things.
So you slightly...
And apparently Janet's got a lot of candles that she don't use, so she's going to send them to me.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
So you tell a little fib about how much you spend on those sorts of things. That's a kind of general white lie that we all do,
Does it come to 34 a day?
Well, this is the thing. I thought 34 a week, which is about 4 or 5 a day. I thought that was excessive. 34 a day, I don't know
I wouldn't
how...
say 34 a day.
I'd be exhausted because you got to remember what you lied about to go and remember to say that. That's just, and we all know you will get caught out in that lie eventually. So you might as well just either say nothing, if you ain't got nothing good to say nothing, or just say the truth and say, please don't ask me, as the truth often offends. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
If you continue to ask, then be offended. What?
They get offended when you say that. Especially if you put that Brenda face on.
Oh, come on, Janet. You're worse than me. I know you are. But at the end, I just don't see that it's too exhausting and draining to keep lying and remember what the lie was.
But we don't lie necessarily, Linda. What we do... So,
what is it with you? And yesterday it was Kelly, today it's Brenda, now it's Linda.
I'm sorry. It's because you can't change. She's getting on a bit. All right, I'm getting on a bit. Get over it.
That's a lie.
Brenda, I don't tell white lies. I tell kind of yellowy lies because all day long people go, how's your day been so far? And what you want to say, rubbish.
So say rubbish.
So I just go, fine. Because you lot told me I was rude, so now I have to lie. I go, fine. Fine, thank you.
But you're not a very good liar, are you?
Linda.
Thinking.
No, I do tell quite a lot of lies, and I tell them with a kind of smiley, neutral face, and you never...
So you think you're good at it?
Yeah, brilliant at it.
What about you, Christine?
Brilliant.
It's my mum always instilled in us it takes a liar to have a good memory. Just like you said, because you'll always get caught out because you'll forget something. But I would sort of probably tell fibs like, I'm like 5 minutes away.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
There's those sort of things, but I tell lies to try and make the other person feel a bit better, even because I know I'm going to be a bit late.
Is that really a lie? You're 5 minutes away? Because you never know what's going on with London traffic. It could be 5, it could be 30 minutes.
Thank God for London traffic. That's got me out of many.
The biggest lie is, I'm ready. Yeah. Ready. Those 2 words, you're never ready.
Actually,
if you're saying, I'm ready.
Janet, that is one thing in our house. You're quite right. I'll shout, yeah, I'm coming, I'm ready. I'm not. I'm like still doing mascara and stuff like this. So yeah, absolutely, that's another one. Anyway, moving on. What would you do with £500,000? You'd buy a lot of candles, wouldn't you? Would you jet off for a new life in the sun? Maybe not in Cyprus today. Maybe on another day. Josie, what's it like? Is it still raining?
It's actually all right now. It's not too bad. I mean, I've had hailstones the size of my thumb, but this morning it was 26 degrees. It was absolutely beautiful. And with this competition of £500,000, you really could be making a new life for yourself in the sun, but the choice is yours what you spend the money on. Now, I'm joined by Nick, who's the property manager here at Aphrodite Hills. Hello, Nick.
Hi, Jessie. How are you?
Good. Nick, what's the best thing about living in Cyprus?
I would say the weather is fantastic. Unfortunately, today is not that day because we just had a hailstorm, but the food is great, the people are very friendly, and it's a very safe island to live on. The Cyprus government introduced the residency program, which allows for someone to purchase a property for €300,000, and that applies to the children up to the age of 25, the parents and in-laws, and they all qualify for the residence permit.
So your whole family could have a residency in Cyprus if you bought a property of €300,000. And Nick, we're giving away £500,000, so you do the maths. But you need to pick up the phone and get the entry in because lines close this Friday. Pick up the phone. Good luck. Here's all the details.
For another chance to win, text CASH to 82248. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Cash 44, PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over and lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 4th of November. Good luck.
It is a huge amount of money. £500,000 could be yours. And remember, with all of our competitions, there is always a guaranteed winner. So our team is on hand, waiting to make that call to tell somebody that they're £500,000 richer. Fancy
a lot of money. Thank you so much, Josie. Lovely to see you. Go and enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I wanted to hear what she said. There she is. There she is. Okay. Are you okay? Is there everything all right?
All I was All I was going to say is margarita time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bless
I'm
you.
with you. I'm with you. Now, Harry Styles fans are losing their minds over the singer's latest transformation after starring as a half-man, half-sea creature for his new music video. Despite his fishy new look, fans took to Twitter to reveal that they were even more attracted to him than ever before. One wrote, Harry Styles is the only man who can turn himself half octopus and still be sexy. Why am I sweating for a man with tentacles? You're a Harry Styles fan, Janet.
Yeah.
What do you make of this merman makeover?
Who knows what he can do with those tentacles? Harry Styles is, look,
yeah,
he's still
big bushy beard,
unbelievably gorgeous, even if he looks
Janet, I honestly didn't think Harry Styles would be your type.
I know, but I've got a very weird type. I mean, before I was fixated on Harry Styles, I was fixated on Mackenzie Crook, you know, as the detectivist or Wurzel Gummidge. So I do go for odd types.
Yeah? No, no, not unusual, just interesting. Harry Styles is interesting, though, isn't it?
Wurzel Gummidge? Did you just say Wurzel Gummidge?
Yeah,
I really think Mackenzie Crook's sexy.
Yeah, I just think of him from The Office. All those years ago, he's brilliant in that, too.
Yeah, he's still quite sexy.
Yeah.
In a weird sort of way.
What about you, Linda?
Well, it's a strange one, really, but Homer Simpson. No, because I don't like men who spend too much time preening and looking after themselves. I like a man with a beer belly who looks like a real man.
Well, you've got a lot to choose from in Britain at the moment.
So Homer Simpson.
Or Russell Brand.
Really?
Always had a little crush on Russell Brand.
Seriously,
yeah.
Linda.
Those two have got nothing in common whatsoever.
Well, they're the two men I fancy, all right?
I think it's called keeping all your options open.
That's it, just in case, right? Your fantasy crush.
My fantasy crush, and I think I've said this, is Damon from Vampire Diaries, or should I say the actor Ian Somerhalder. He can hold me summer, winter, autumn, you know, just hold me. But the thing I like about him is that he's cheeky chappy, he's strong, obviously, he's a vampire, not real, but lovely eyes, and he just takes charge. I like that.
It's that vampire kind of
I just like
thing,
the
though, isn't
fact
it? My
I actually
sister
met
loves
him,
it
and
too.
I was transfixed. I was just like staring at him. I didn't even say hello.
But it's engaged like a whole new audience, hasn't it? The vampire thing is just
it's
massive
amazing.
fantasy
I love the
thing for a lot of
Vampire
people.
Diaries. Both him, you know, him and his brother, and Elena. I didn't really like her much because she had the two brothers fighting over her. So, but yeah, Damon.
He's the one. He's the one. Not that I fancying is far too strong a word, but I used to be obsessed and thought it was the coolest thing ever. Was Kit from Knight Rider, the car. The car. Can you remember the voice of Kit? It goes,
Yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, that was the coolest thing ever. A car that could talk, drive, do everything. Come on, it doesn't get any. That's amazing.
A car that can do all that without a man in it.
Amazing.
Telling you how to drive.
I could sit in the top of that bonnet, no problem, and let Kit drive me off into the sunset. It'd be fantastic. Lovely. And then my other thing growing up was She-Ra. Do you remember She-Ra?
She-Ra, yeah.
I loved She-Ra back in the day.
And Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman was amazing. Her lasso and everything.
Absolutely.
I just loved
Invisible
that.
airplane.
Yeah.
She was the one. Anyway, there's your eclectic mix for Tuesday. Thank you very much for your company. Tomorrow, we're going to be joined by broadcaster Claire Balding. Have a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Watch the 10th and final series of the goings-on for Portwen's GP. Doc Martin is on ITV Hub, and this Friday night at 9, two Gavin and Stacey Faves, actors Larry Lamb and Alison Steadman embark on a DNA journey together. Coming up next, the ITV Lunchtime News.